Hey guys,
What's up?
hope you guys are doing well today. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Prayer Line.
Come on in the room.
Hey guys.
What's up, fam? Yes, sir.
Hey guys. Welcome. Okay.
Right. So check this out. We don't know what's wrong with StreamYard, but anybody that's on Facebook, we cannot see your comments. So if you want us to see your comments, you're gonna have to jump over to YouTube. Hope y'all can hear me. You got jump over to YouTube if you want us to see your comments. Otherwise, we won't be able to see it. Y'all will be able to see each other's in the chat, but we can't see the Facebook comments today. So if you want to comment and you want us to be able to see it, you got to jump over to YouTube. It's live on YouTube too. But just FYI, if y'all cool with us not seeing the comments, stay on Facebook. We good. We gonna be here. But jump over to YouTube if you want us to see your comments. Got to take it upstream, y'all. I don't know what they got going on. But everybody doing all right? I hope y'all are. Yeah, I see y'all commenting on my phone, but we can't see y'all on StreamYard. There it is. What's up, Nicole? Yeah, I see y'all jumping in. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see it jumping over. Hey, Carter. Carter says, hey.
Hey.
What's up, family? Again, for those that's coming in, it's so good to have everybody in with us. But we can't see comments on Facebook. So if you want us to see your comments, you're going to have to jump over to YouTube so we can interact with you. Otherwise, we're going to be here. We're going to share what the Lord is saying, but we won't be able to see what it is that you're saying. What's up, fam? I see y'all coming in, the ones that jumped over to YouTube. I see it happening. Hey, thank you, BJ.
And I added the link on, if you want to go to YouTube, I've added the link there. You should see it in the comments. If you click on that link, hopefully that'll take you to our YouTube, to my YouTube, and you can go there and comment. Once again, you're welcome to comment. We just cannot see it if you're on Facebook. We found that out a few moments ago, right before we went live. So it's all good, because guess what ain't lacking? The Word of God.
Not lacking.
If you got a moment, though, before you go to YouTube, share this broadcast with someone so at least they can get it.
That too.
Yeah, please share it. We need everybody to share it.
Right.
Send that link that you said, YouTube link, send it to everybody you know and say, hey, take a moment and jump on. We would love to have you guys on as we are going to be sharing the word of the Lord tonight.
We know we got y'all hopping around, but we just found out. Good evening. Everybody doing all right in the midst of all this moving and transitioning and stuff that we got going on here? Everybody doing good this Tuesday? Just to update anybody, if you came in, we cannot see comments on Facebook. So you may be commenting and you can see it in the chat, but on StreamYard end, there's some kind of glitch where we cannot see the comments from Facebook. So if you would like for us to see your comments, you'll have to head to YouTube. Otherwise, just stay in here with us and know that we here.
We here.
We see y'all. We see y'all. We see y'all. We see y'all.
Yeah, I see you guys. I think most people are moving over.
We see y'all.
All right.
We see
y'all.
No, what's up, fam?
No, Brian, we're not in jail. Thank you.
No.
That's how lies get started. We're not in jail. we use a particular app, and so she's been mentioning it, but it's really behind the scenes back end app that we use. Software. We use a third party software so that we can go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And so in order for us to do that, we have to use a particular back end system. Well, that back end system reported an issue where anybody who, if we stream anybody on Facebook, we're not going to see their comments. So we're not in jail. Do not put that out there. Tell y'all go and fix that. Fix that. We are not in jail. We are free. We are free in whom the sun sets free. I know y'all laughing, but whom the sun sets free is free indeed. We are free. Please tell the folks. We free out here. But anyway, but we're so glad to have you guys. And guess what? We're at our free sales. Nothing is going to stop us from being able to share the word of God. And so we're excited tonight. We're repping a little 10 gear tonight. Ooh, this has been sponsored and brought to you by the Equipping Nation, OV's brand new, beautiful baby and community that is being birthed, that has been birthed. And so we're super excited about this. Really excited about what God is doing. We are on the home stretch. You're on the home stretch.
Thank you,
Brian.
We are on the home stretch for sure. But I'm so grateful for what God is doing. He is doing some magnificent things, and I'm excited to share that with the people. So that's so awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, just in case you don't know what in the world we're talking about, the Equipping Nation is being birthed in Dallas, Texas, and we are days away. What's the countdown? What day are we on? Do you know? I haven't been. I need to go to the website.
Like 10.
Okay.
Probably not. Let's see. Sunday was 14 days. So what's today? Today, Tuesday, so 12 days away.
Let's see. I'm going to the website, the Equipping Nation, real quick.
12 days. I just know that my system.
12 days, 1 hour, 23 minutes, 55 seconds before the launch of the official launch at 10.
All I know is just my nervous system. I'm excited. Praise the Lord. But my nervous system, honey, I can't count them days with y'all, but I keep praying for me, but I can't count them days. My nerves is.
You all that know the words of prayer, would you all do me a huge favor and pray much for the woman of God? Please pray much, much, much for her. I know those butterfly feelings.
Yes, Lord.
Being a birther, a serial birther, birthing many works. I know what that's like, and so I'm excited about you embarking on your journey of birthing beautiful spiritual babies.
Yeah. And
we're excited. And so many of you know I feel like a proud grandma, as 10 is being birthed. And so I'm rocking my little sweatshirt as well. Very excited about what God is doing. So once again, keep her in your prayers and her team. And many of you guys are going to meet us in Dallas. And just by chance, if you have the access to get to Dallas, is there any more tickets?
2. Last I checked, I had 2. We had 2 tickets.
2 tickets. So you can go to www.equippingnation.com and you can not purchase because it doesn't cost anything, but you can secure a ticket if you know you're going to be able to get to Dallas. All right. If you don't think you'll be able to get to Dallas, don't take up a ticket because somebody else will absolutely.
You will be able to watch it virtually.
Yes.
You will be able to watch it virtually. So
yes.
I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I just,
I know. Well, listen, guys. We are excited. Are you guys ready for tonight? Are you ready? We named this tonight because we believe this is really where we are. After the prophecy, then what? After the prophecy, then what? And so tonight we really want to just delve a little bit into what happens when, let's do this really quickly. How many of you all have ever received a prophetic word from the Lord, whether it been through a prophet, whether through a prayer partner, through a pastor or leader, you've ever received a word from the Lord, even if it was not specifically to you, when it was given, you knew that word was for you. And so you received it for yourself. How many of you all, by a show of hands or by a show of comments, you found yourself at a place where you have received a prophetic word? Some of you say, Lord, yes, it was 10 years ago. I remember the day. I remember the hour, whatever. You remember those prophetic words that you received. And so what we've realized as we were talking, we talked about the fact that, most of us are not shy on at least getting a prophetic word at least one time, right? I remember Brian is on. I remember the first time that I believe I met him. He attended our church in Lynchburg and as a visitor. And I remember calling him. I don't know if he even came up or if I called him out and prophesied over him. But literally, he has been connected to the vision ever since that prophetic word. I mean, that's been years, 5 years now. So we laugh about the little Facebook jail. We ride, we deep, Brian and his family. So, but the point is that the prophetic word is what drew him into, I believe, the ministry, to be connected. And many of you guys, your lives have changed by prophetic words that you've received. And so one of the things that we were talking about was we thought it was important for us to share and talk about what happens after the prophecy. Yes. What happens after the prophecy? How many of you all
after the prophecy?
Like, yeah, I need that.
What happens after the prophecy? So I'm gonna give this quick for those that are coming in, because I see you guys commenting. Again, we cannot see Facebook comments. We're gonna get back to what happens after the prophecy, but we cannot see Facebook comments. So if you want us to see your comment, you got to jump over to YouTube. Otherwise, we out here. But what happens after the prophecy? What happens after the prophecy? I know for a fact, for me, 5 years ago, I was not aware of anything that I possess now. I had no recollection of anything that is on the inside of me that I'm operating in now. But it was one of those things where literally my first night, like my very first night at service after I had moved, her Apostles Nicole, spiritual leader, he prophesied to me, and that prophecy, I felt in that moment it was so far-fetched, like compared to what it is, anything that I knew about myself. The words that he was saying to me, it did not resonate with anywhere that my life has been. What's up, V? It didn't resonate with anywhere my life has been or anything like that. So it was really hard, if I be honest, it was really hard to grasp the concept of a lot of the things that he was saying because it was so foreign. So one, I didn't know anything what it means to work a prophecy, right? I didn't know none of that. But what I knew I left there feeling was there was more on the inside of me. And even though I didn't know what it looked like to get to that path, I knew that something in his words set something ablaze on the inside of me. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what that thing was or how it how it would affect me. But I remembered days and months after that, I would be intentional about trying to figure out how to, I don't know, it's almost like jump within the words that he said, not meaning operate soon, but figure out what the path was for these words that was spoken over me. And I think so often when we receive prophetic words, when the words does not line up with what we see ourselves or with what we believe that we're capable of doing, we sometimes in our lack of belief we just don't begin to lean into what God desires to do in order to put us on the path of getting what it is that God says. And prophetic words is really the desires of God, like what God desires to do in our lives. When God sends someone to speak something to you prophetically, it's to literally encourage, to strengthen, and to build, right? And it's to encourage you, to let you know that even though it looks like this right now, there is more to this. Like there's something on the other side of this. There's something else to be done. And even though it don't look like it. And what I had to realize was everything in my life prior to that word, my life prior to that did not look or reflect anything that he said. So my literal gauge from that, right after my prophecy, I literally tried to make sure, or I allowed that to be, if you will, my barriers or my standard, meaning there were some things that I stopped doing. There are some people that I stopped hanging around, some stuff that I stopped partaking in, because it simply did not reflect the words that I believe ignited what was in me. Good. It did not necessarily have anything to do with this person spoke this over you, and this is what you're going to be. But it was more so of what that person spoke to me ignited something in me that I decided to get on a path to discover. And in me doing that, I just became real. I became real, authentic in the process. Meaning I would be open about the journey. I would lean to those who have what it took in order for me to move forward in what it is that I knew that God had called me to. I didn't lean to what I understood, because what I understood about myself never reflect the words that came out of his mouth. So it was that first prophecy, that kind of almost in a sense allowed me to have my own accountability for what I would do until I figured out what I needed to do.
And it was like I said, it wasn't necessarily, I knew all of what to do. I didn't know any of what to do. But I knew that there were some things that didn't reflect what he said. And like I said, I always went back to the fact that those words ignited me, not the fact that the man of God spoke them. It had nothing to do with that, but it had something to do with the way that I felt when he spoke the words and the way that my spirit received those words. And even though I did not understand it, I did what I could in my knowledge to make sure I lined up the best that I could with those words, even when I didn't understand.
That's good. That's good. You know, I think that's a very wise thing to do, because sometimes you know how it is when you get that prophetic word and you know they call you out or they call your name and you get super excited, you know, or you may get nervous because you're like, what do I do? And I love how one of the things you're like, I don't know what all to do, but I do know that there are some parameters, there are some boundaries. I know that if the Lord is telling me to go west, there's no sense in me keep going east. I've got to make some different plans. I've got to prepare in a different way. And so sometimes when you receive a prophetic word from the Lord, sometimes sometimes you don't know what all to do, but you got to know what not to do. And so knowing that there are certain things that are not, they are not advantageous for you, or they're not going to work, you know, as it relates to what God has shown you. For instance, I'll give you a prime example. If you're in the middle of a relationship and it's going, and you're in the middle, and it seems like if you're always in a heartbreak situation, or always in a bad situation, or you guys are always in turmoil, and you know, and then God gives you a prophetic word through someone, and they tell you that you're getting ready to connect with who God has for you. Now it's kind of hard, right? Yeah. Well, because you're like, well, wait a minute, I've got this situation going on. You tell me I'm going to connect. Connect means I have not connected yet, which means that sometimes we'll frustrate the plan of God because we want what we want instead of waiting on the unknown of God. I can tell you, a lot of us, we grab hold to what we know because we're fearful of what we don't know. And so we hold on to what we know, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it no longer works, we find ourselves in that place. And so I love that. But I want to say this, one of the first things you want to do whenever you get a prophetic word is you want to document it. Somebody put that in the comments, put that in the notes. You want to document it. If you got a way to record it, record it. If nobody recorded it, go back as soon as possible. Don't go to Waffle House and get you a big old piece of country ham and 3 waffles and extra butter and syrup, talking about, oh, that was a good service we had. And then you, at the end, you asking folks, what did they say again? No, the minute you get a prophetic word, even if it's online, you need to immediately document it. If you're watching Prayer Live with us, if you're on here with us on Tuesdays and God gives you a prophetic word, you need to go back after that live and splice, screen record. You screen record everything else, screen record that and splice that little part out and listen to it every day. And then I'm going to tell you a step further. Once you record it, document it, write it down, right? One of the things that I do, and I do this all the time, I have this little thing on my desk that I have on my desk, at the tip of my desk. And on my desk are prophetic words that I've received. And at any given time, I can be going through, I can have a hard day. I can have just feel like nothing's working on my behalf. It feels like everything's going opposite direction. I will go back and look at the prophetic word from the Lord, and I'll begin to read it out loud to myself until I can believe it, until I can receive it all over again. Or I'll go back to the audio. Vosh does this all the time. We have this thing where we go through, put all our prophetic words in an iMovie.
Mine is over an hour long.
And just let that bad boy play.
Yeah. And what it is, something I've learned in that is that's encouragement for me. Like, because there's plenty of days where I did not know where this thing was headed, because God got a way of getting you off track to put you on track, you know, removing the tracks and keeping you on that path. Like God got a way of, he moved different. God just moved different. And it's one of those things that in order for me to stay encouraged along the path, and I know this is where a lot of people are, because you've received words, right? You hear the word that's spoken over you. Some of you, it's the same word. You've got the same word from 7 different people in 7 different states. And you're just like, when is this thing going to happen? How is this thing going to happen? And one of the main things that I had to realize is prophetic words they're not given to us for us to go out and make it happen.
right? And most people, when they say go out, that when they hear work your prophecy, they think that you're going out to make your prophecy happen.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works. You go out and position yourself to be aligned. And that's what that means to work your prophecy. It means that as I'm waiting to figure out what this is, I'll make sure my body is in the best health. I'll work on my thought process, my mind, right? I'll rid myself of any dysfunction and any trauma that could potentially hinder me from being on the platforms that they say I'm on my way to, that my soul was ignited when I heard it, right? I'll make sure that I have what it takes in order to maintain the things that I hear, right? I will look at some of the greatest successes and some of the greatest failures as it relates to that thing that I feel like I'm going in. And something that I heard the Lord said he's what he's doing for us, like as it relates to those of us that are basically waiting for our word to come to fruition. He said he's changing us in industries, he's changing us in regions, and he's changing us and using us to change systems. He's using us to change industries, regions, and systems. And what God said, basically what he's doing, he said with these prophetic words, the reason they don't make sense, because there was somebody that was working in systems and he said, no, I'm using you to shift industries. There was somebody that was working in industries and God said, no, I'm using you to shift regions. There was somebody that was working in regions and God said, no, I need you to go work systems. And the reason that our prophetic words don't make sense to us is because you spent your whole life working towards regions, right? Working towards whatever this is. And God said the actual plan that I have for you is within the systems. So when you hear, this is just example, right? When you hear that all your life you've been working towards making a difference in the regions around you, and God said, no, your purpose is for systems. The path that he put you on to get you in systems won't look like the average path of the person that's in systems. But if we don't lean to the prophetic word, which what makes our life that supernatural, it's what makes it's the prophetic, that leaning into the prophetic and trusting God in that process is what makes our life that supernatural. People look at my life, especially these last 5 years, and they like that. It just don't make sense. It don't make natural sense. It don't make sense how God added to me and multiplied in me by dividing and subtracting. He divided so much in my life and he took so much away from me, but ultimately that led to me multiplying and being added to. But if I'd have been stuck in the equation, if I'd have been stuck, in okay, God, I ain't never stood and did a speech in front of nobody, and you mean to tell me that that this is gonna be what I do? Like, this is what you purposed me for? Like, this is it? I played sports all my life, so I didn't have to open my mouth. And you mean to tell me my purpose is to open my mouth? So it's one of those things. If I'd have just leaned in what I always was and what I always thought I was doing and where I always thought I was good at, what I always thought I was anointed for, if I'd have stayed in that, the prophetic words that came to me, if I'd have stayed in that space, I'd have basically canceled them out. I'd have canceled out the reality of what God wanted to bring me into, because I was so stuck. So what God is saying, when I send a prophetic word to you, it's not to combat whether it's right or if it's wrong. It's literally to help you align. It's to help you recalibrate. It's to help you see that, even though this has been always you, that was never the plan. That was never the plan. So if you allow me to just continue to shift you, to shake you, to turn you, to maneuver you, right, to grow you, to chisel you, to prune you, to stretch, whatever. If you allow him to do it the way he wants to do it, you won't have to make nothing happen for you. It'll begin to happen beyond you. I was telling Apostle this morning, I just knew that I knew something was in me. Like, I knew something, God was going to do something in me, but I just knew it was going to be like my late 30s. I just knew that. Like, by this time, he going to let me have my family. I'll be established. By the time we go in this bed, my husband going to do this thing the way. And God was like, no. And what I realized was where I thought that I was way back there somewhere, God said, no, I took you out of the line so that I could do something with you on the side. And the whole time I was walking you to the front. The whole time you send people doing this, you send people going for it, you send people, and to everybody, because I came in, when I came in, everybody still see me back there. Everybody's still saying she don't qualify for what she's about to do. She don't have what it takes to enter in what she's about to do. But God, it's the path of the prophetic. It's the path of leaning into your prophecy. I know for a fact it's because I leaned into those words that's been spoken over me these last 5 years. I leaned into them when it didn't make sense. I leaned into them when it isolated me. I leaned into them, when it took everything from me. I leaned into it when God literally stripped me from the very clothes that I had the season before. I leaned into it when, when I couldn't call my mom and tell her I wanted to come home. Like, I leaned into these unknown words, and in me leaning into it where I thought that maybe I was still back there in line somewhere, the whole time God was moving me ahead because I leaned into what didn't make sense. I leaned into, a path that the least would travel. Ain't nobody gonna sign up for what I did these last 5 years. Ain't nobody gonna sign up for it. But it's one of those things when you decide to sign up for your prophetic, like what God speak over you,
prophetic destiny. The
prophetic destiny. When you decide to align with that thing that ignites on the inside of you, you gonna skip some. The Lord said it's an accelerated grace on those that lean into the prophetic. There's an accelerated grace, meaning as you go through what you go through, some days may seem long, some seasons may seem long, but as it relates to those that took that path, it's going to be so much shorter. When you lean into the prophetic, the Lord said, I desire to make your life supernatural. The only way I can make your life supernatural is if you lean into the prophetic things that is spoken over you. And the prophetic things that's spoken over you are to ignite, to show you. It's to recalibrate, to show you, okay, yeah, you're going down this path. Okay, now let's turn here. Okay, now let's turn here. That's what prophetic words. It's a guide. It guides us.
Yeah. We were talking earlier, and I was telling us, sometimes like you're on the highway, and you ever see those little mile markers when you're on an expressway? I'm not expressway, but on a highway or on the turnpike, you'll see those mile markers that tell you 100 miles, or you'll see those green signs that tell you 23 miles to such and such. Those are like, prophetic words are oftentimes like those road signs, because it lets you know that you're on the right path. Or for instance, if you're driving west and you're supposed to be going to one city, and the further you drive, the further you're getting away from that city. It's almost like the prophetic can correct it and bring you back around and help you get to that place you're supposed to be in. And that's a beautiful thing. You want that, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens sometimes, we get so excited about the trip. Yes. We get so excited about our prophetic destiny that we literally stop looking at the markers. And it's almost like sometimes you're driving and you think you're doing the right thing. And I think we've done it a couple times. I said, you didn't think you didn't think to say that? You didn't think that we had seen this scenery before? And I'm like, yeah, but I figured you was the driver. I was going to let you drive. But the reality is that sometimes that's the way that it is with the prophetic. Hey, sweetheart, that's the way that it is with the prophetic, is that whenever you get a prophetic word, it's meant to help guide you. And I love how you talked about that you got to lean into that prophetic word. You got to lean into that thing, and you got to milk that thing. It's like your favorite jam or jelly. Mm-hmm. You gonna get that last little bit out. With the prophetic word, you don't let one word fall. You hold on to every single word. And so we talked about how when you get a prophetic word, you want to document that word as soon as possible. If you can record it, you want to record it. And Vosh talked about you need to make sure that there's some things that you automatically know you need to shift when you hear that prophetic word. If it's not in the direction in which that prophetic word is sending you, it's from God. There's some things sometimes you don't know what to do, but you know what not to do. And so you start to do that. The next thing you want to do is that you want to take that prophetic word in prayer. Now, I know that may sound crazy. Right. You got a prophetic word from someone, and then you listening to it every day, but have you prayed concerning it to say, Lord, what is my role in this prophetic word? What is it that you want me to do with this? Is there anything that I should be doing? Why is this important? Because if you're like me, you are a make it happen kind of girl or guy. And what happens is if you don't ask God what you should be doing with that prophetic word, you're going to do the most.
You're going to do the most. And this is something that I've also learned about prophetic words. See, I can talk about Apostle Ford prophetic words because he literally, it's almost like if I were to play my prophetic words for y'all will hear a story. And you will think that I talk to him every day and kept him up on the story and so on and so forth. But every last one of his words are lengthy, right? So what I realized, there were some things that he said to me in my very first prophetic word, right? Yeah. That's just now being applied, like
5 years later.
And so the reason I go back to my prophetic words, because at different seasons of this journey, different parts of them meant different things. Like Dr. Danielle, she prophesied to Apostle and myself a year ago, and I listened to that prophecy every day. It wasn't until December or recently where I heard she said, there's a ministry brewing in you. I'm just now hearing that. And that's she been saying it every day. But it's not until I tapped into that part where that came out and I realized this been God's plan all along. So it's encouraging me now while I'm on this path, while I'm in it. Actually, now it's encouraging me to let me know this was said before I saw it. This was said before I knew it. That's my encouragement now to keep going because it was already said. So it's important to understand and to keep and to hold on to these prophetic words, because if I would have heard it prematurely, I wouldn't have tried to start a ministry. I'd have did everything that I could to make sure that it didn't come, that it didn't happen. Because if you know me, I don't want to talk in front of people. That's just my natural nature. That's my nature. Hey, I will help you. I will serve you all day long. But don't let me talk, please. So for me to be doing this is one of those things. It's a real obedience thing. It's real life. But if I would have stopped listening to those words when I would get discouraged now, or when my anxiety would go crazy now, I would miss the fact that this was already planned because it's been said to me. So it's important to pray over your prophetic words so you can figure out what to apply now, what's for now, and what's for later. You know, what to take out of this that I know that can help me now. Her saying that a year ago is helping me today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's helping me today. But before that, her saying, you know, the fact that God was, you know, doing something in me, and all of that is what helped me get to this point. So all of your prophetic word matters, but you got to know what to grab a hold to now so that you can get through now effectively, and then figure out, that's why you pray, figure out in the next season what God wants you to hold on to from the next part of the prophetic word.
That's so good. And I want to bring up a point on the flip side of it, because I know we have a lot of prophetic people on here who God has used you to prophesy to others before. And I never forget pastoring in Greensboro. I have a lot of young prophetic gifts, and I never forget one time that one of the prophetic giftings and that was a part of my ministry prophesied to one of my other daughters in ministry. And when I heard the prophetic word that they gave, everything they said was on point. The problem is that they were only supposed to say the first two sentences. The latter part of it was so far out that I knew, because of my experience with my spiritual daughter, that information was going to make her try to do things prematurely. So this is something I want to say to you all that have a prophetic gift. Only say what God says. Yes, and now sometimes God will show you a larger picture of that person's life, but you got to know, what am I supposed to share, right? Yes, and if you keep talking and you keep sharing information, and then they come back with a bunch of questions, or they're out there trying to trying to sort of help God out, then you've made a mess. And so be sure that you only share what God is giving you. Because God will show you more sometimes, but it's not for you to share with them at that point. So know what to share, know what not to share. Why am I saying that? Because there's a thing called waiting in a prophetic word. Yeah. Sometimes when you get a prophetic word, they're like happens tomorrow kind of deal. But if I be honest, 95% of the prophetic words I've ever received were not for now, they were for later. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, it was to give me the gas, it was to give me the force, it was to give me the wherewithal to keep going, because I was going to have to experience some things as I was preparing for whatever God had for me next. And so oftentimes the prophetic word is, even though you get it today, so if you get a prophetic word today and and we say, I see someone writing you $1 million check, don't quit your job today. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't quit your job today, right? And if the check don't come tomorrow, don't get upset, right? And I hate to break it to you, but the check ain't in the mail. I'm not taking away from your prophecy, but it's probably not in the mail either. My point is that even when you get a word that says you're going to be a millionaire, you got to go and say, okay, God, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing to work the prophetic word? Overseers always talking about working your prophecy. Yes. You got to work the prophetic words that God has given you. Some of you all have been given a prophetic word that went long, like, God's going to do this for you in 30 years from now, 20 years from now, but you eating pork rinds for breakfast. And you trying to, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's gonna get cloudy pretty soon. And you're gonna be trying to figure out old cloudy day, and it's gonna be because you haven't worked your prophecy. So one of the reasons why, I'll give you a prime example, why I go so hard. I know she just go hard. This is the discipline coach, right? But she goes hard because she could still, she got a little wiggle room. She can do stuff a little different. Me, I could one bad meal can take me back. can take me back 6 months, right? But the point is the reason why I go so hard, and I'm sure she says the same thing, is because I gotta fulfill this prophetic word. I'm not gonna be doing it. I don't have nothing against you and your auntie on breathing machine. I ain't got nothing against that, and I ain't got nothing against that. But what I'm telling you is that I refuse to do the things that God has called me to do. Broke down, busted, disgusted, can't hardly make it, looking old and like everything that fell apart. I refuse to do that.
Yes.
Right. And so you got to understand that there is a waiting period, and during that waiting period, everything ain't deep.
No.
Everything's not deep.
No.
Everything that, well, I'm gonna see today what the God is saying about this.
Not
No,
God.
pay your bills, drink your water, mind your business. If you're married, have sex with your husband or wife or whomever. Take care of that.
Take care
of your children.
Take care of priorities.
When's the last time you checked their homework? Check on them, right? You check on that stuff
Right.
while you out here talking about, but I gotta, I'm just gonna check this. I'm gonna check on this prophetic word. No, that prophetic word is gonna be just fine. You just gotta make sure that you're abiding and doing the things you're supposed to do. So don't forget that there is a waiting period.
Yes.
And during that period, the whole reason the prophetic word is given is so you won't faint in the process.
Facts. Well, something that I heard while you were talking was the manifestation of the prophetic comes after process.
Say that again.
The manifestation of the prophetic comes after process, right? And in that process, what we're working on, and I was watching Cindy Trim, and she was talking about how each level of our lives, like, God, you'll get to this certain point and you'll master this level, right? And when you go to the next level, it's almost like you're starting from jump, and you have to master that level kind of deal. And what we have to understand is while we are in processes, and while we are elevating and moving forward and all of these things, there in each stage of that comes and I don't know if y'all saw me post the other day, it's like every new season of my life will demand a different me, and it's up to me to show up for that demand. And if we refuse to show up for the, like, just to do what we need to do in the process, right? To make sure that we, are doing our part in our mind, body, and spirit while we're waiting on this word to come to pass. Could it be that when it comes time for us to walk in that manifestation, we won't have what it takes? Because, I can't keep my thought process because the church is laughing. but could it be that it's because, that we don't choose to work on ourselves in every season and in every part of our elevation, that we don't get a chance to walk into the manifestations that God has spoken over our life?
That's good. That's good. And so you guys, I think we're going to go back. I think we got it here. The manifestation of the prophetic comes after the process. And so the prophetic helps us get through the process. It helps us get through that time to help us get to the promise that God has for us. So we documented it. We're listening to it. We're praying and saying, God, what do you want me to do in this prophetic word? We understand that there's a waiting period. We understand that there's things we got to do to work the prophetic word that God has given us. We understand that there's things we got to do to lean into what it is that God has told us to do. And guys, it don't speed up just because you gung-ho today. Just because you want to do something today, or just because you want it to take place today, doesn't mean God's going to absolutely unequivocally move on it. You got to be willing to work that prophetic word. And so that's important. That was a scripture that I had found earlier, and I thought it was very imperative. And write the scripture down. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 18 and 19, especially 18. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse number 18. And I'm going to read it to you, the Amplified version. I love this because Paul is talking to Timothy, which is like his mentee, which is just like his son. And so listen to this. And this is giving you just a snapshot of what happens when you get a prophetic word. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 18 says in the Amplified version, "This command I entrust to you, Timothy, my son, in accordance with the prophecies previously made concerning you, so that inspired and aided by them, you may fight the good fight in contending with false teachers, keeping your faith, leaning completely on God with absolute trust and confidence in his guidance, and having a good conscience. For some people have rejected their moral compass and have made a shipwreck of their faith. And so I think this is very important. I'm gonna read it to you in the Message version, because some of y'all like, that was a lot of words. It's too many words. What are the words you say? So I'm gonna say this again. So Paul is talking to Timothy, and he says this. He says, the prophetic word that was directed to you prepared us for this. All those prayers are coming together now, so you will do this well, fearless in your struggle. Somebody put in the chat, fearless in your struggle, in my struggle, keeping a firm grip on your faith and on yourself. After all, this is a fight we're in. So what you need to understand is just like Paul is telling Timothy in the scripture, when you get a prophetic word, the fight is on. The fight is on. He says to him, listen, I need you to know there's a lot of prophetic words hanging over your head, Timothy. And listen, I'm sure that this is the time. This is a part of your prophetic destiny. And I believe that you are to be inspired. This is the Amplified version. I love this. It says, so that inspired and aided by the prophecies. Inspired and aided. Your prophetic word should inspire you and aid you, help you, assist you. Every prophetic word you get should in some kind of way inspire you. Inspire you to pull up, inspire you to do better, inspire you to let some stuff go, aid you in doing the right thing and making sure that you're putting the right kind of energy in the right places. This is important. So Paul is telling Timothy, listen, those prophetic words, they're meant to aid you and inspire you. Why? That you may be able to fight the good fight. There is a fight that you and I are in. And if you think that just because you got a prophetic word, that means that you don't have to fight, you have missed it. You are still going to have to fight. I know you still singing a lot of Adams. This battle is not yours. You got that right. It's not yours, but you're going to fight it. You're right. No, it's not yours, but you're going to fight in it, right? And so at the end of the day, we know that we have a target on our back because we belong to God. But as we do the work of the Lord, we need to understand that there will be a fight. I'll never forget prophetic words that I received. And man, some of those prophetic words was like, you know how sometimes you get a prophetic word and it's like sandwiched. It'll be something sort of good, then something a little like, gonna be some major changes, and then something else good, and then something else is gonna be some major changes. And I remember sometimes I've cringed listening to prophetic words that I received. Why? Because it indicated that the process wasn't over. It indicated that there was still some things I yet had to go through. It indicated that I was not going to be able to put up my arsenal, for the weapons of our warfare not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. It indicated that I was going to have to still fight. And I want to talk to some people that's tired of fighting. And I'm telling you that you can't get tired now. Be not weary in well doing. You shall reap a harvest of blessings if you faint not. But you've got to get to the place where you're willing to understand that after I've received the prophetic word, there will be a fight. After you are approved, after you have been affirmed, after God says to Jesus, this is my beloved son in whom I well please. It was then, the Bible says, straightway he was led into the wilderness, and he was led there, and he sacrificed. He gave up everything that was pleasurable for 40 days and 40 nights, only to get to the end of that thing and have the enemy show up and tempt him 3 different times, because he understood that was a prophetic word, that was a prophetic destiny that Jesus had. And so he was going to do everything he could to get him out of place. So you are going to be tempted. You are going to have to fight. You're not going to be able, if God told you you're going to reach the masses, baby, you're going to go through hell to reach those masses. If he told you that people are going to be attracted to the anointed on you, you are going to be rejected first. You're going to be one day you're going to be all that in a bag of chips. The next day you're going to be nothing but crumbs. And until you've been through that process, you're not ready. And so I need you to understand that just because you get a prophetic word, it's not wrong with shouting and double dutching and river dancing and running around the church and turn your Apple Watch on, make it a 2-for-1. I don't have no issues with that. But just understand, when the music stops, the fighting will ensue. You will have to stand, having done all to stand. You will have to put on the whole armor of God. You're going to have to fight in prayer. Can I be honest with you all? I have gotten prophetic words that I'm going to tell you right now. If I just lay all my prophetic words out and some of you all read my prophetic words, you shiver all down. You shiver right down this wall with excitement because of what you heard. But the part that you have not heard is there are days when after I've done all, I've read through every prophetic word and it looked like I still can't get no comfort behind it. And it's because I want to just I want this thing to just happen. And God said, no, there is a must needs you got to go through. There is a season. There are seasons of obscurity. Moses, you're going to be great. Moses, but I need you to know that it's not going to stop after you're in the palace. I need you to know that you're going to have to go to the backside of the mountain and you're going to be back there for 40 years. I want you to know that you're going to do some things that are almost beneath you. You're going to have to go through that season. You're going to have to go through the season where you're going to go from getting your orders from Pharaoh to getting your orders from your father-in-law. But I need you to know that that's not how the story is going to end. But you're going to have to maintain your ways. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to, sometimes you're going to have to put your back up against another, your sister and brother, another sister and brother, your community. You got to put your backs to each other and you're going to have to fight together. As a matter of fact, I want to say to everybody, you know that you got friends and sisters and brothers and daughters and sons that's on this broadcast and you see what God wants to do in their life and you see the enemy coming at them. You ought to get in a fight with him. You ought to be willing to say, listen, you ain't got to fight this thing by yourself, because what I do know is that God's word will not return unto him void. And if God says it is going to happen, but hell's going to happen first. It's going to happen first. Anything that survives the crucifixion is resurrection. But before you rejoice about resurrection, you got to go through the betrayal. You got to go through the crucifixion. You can't be betrayed unless it's somebody close. Let me tell you something. Some of you all think you thought it was over with the betrayal. No, baby. Betrayal's the first step. Betrayal's just the first step. It ain't till they crucify you. It ain't till they hate you for no reason. It ain't till they do everything they can. Listen, social media ain't the only thing to be shadow banning you. Folk be shadow banning you. Folks be doing all they can so that they can stop what they think God's going to do in your life. But can I tell you something? You can't stop what God has already started. And if God has put it in motion, who can stop it?
That's right.
Who can stop it? So yes, we get excited about prophetic words. Yes, we get excited when God gives us insight. Yes, we rehearse our prophetic words. I believe that when you get a prophetic word, you ought to go back and you ought to rehearse it. I was talking to one of my spiritual sons, messaged me today and told me about reminded me of a prophetic word I gave him 5 years ago. I hadn't even thought no more about it. He said, I'm walking in what I'm walking in today because of the prophetic words you spoke over my life. And I'm telling you something, you got to hold on to it.
Yes, indeed.
Listen, that's some stuff. I was thinking about a prophetic word, Bosh, I got. One of the prophetic words was a transition to the West Coast and how I would not lose anything in the transition. Mm-hmm. We moved out here in the middle of a pandemic. We moved out here with nothing but what we could fit in a car. We moved out here where everything was 75% more expensive. And we have watched God take care of us every single day of our lives. Yes, and every day has not been overflow and surplus. Let me put that out there. Every day has not been. As a matter of fact, if you were to watch my portfolio while I would be ministering to you half the time, you'd be like, Lord, if I were her, I wouldn't even be online. I wouldn't even, but if I was Bosh, I wouldn't even be online right now. But see, you got to understand something. You got to learn how to maintain your ways, because when you know that God has promised something, it's just a matter of time. So you don't let time punk you. You don't let time make you feel like you can't do it. You persevere, baby. You may have to have one eye closed and one eye open, but baby, you make it through the day.
For sure. Something that absolutely helps me through that is when I begin to adapt the perspective that the blessing is in the process. And when you, as hard as process can be sometimes, right? And we're so looking to get to a destination. We're so looking to get to a manifestation, but we miss the fact that I just healed from this, right? Even though something else is coming, but I just did the work to get through this, right? I'm better than I was then. Like if you reward yourself, if you reward yourself and really just take a moment and understand that this process it's literally shifting some things within your character, adjusting some things with how you feel about yourself, how you look at yourself, what you see about yourself, how you speak about yourself. That is the blessing. Now, when you get to the, because when you get to the destination, when you get to the destination of purpose, that's so you can get out to other people. But when at what point do we take a moment and we acknowledge the fact that we are travailing through something extremely, challenging? Life is just challenging. And when I adapted the perspective that the blessing is the process, I'm not waiting to get to the destination. It keeps me going. It keeps me encouraged. It allows me to know that in this moment, even though I feel like my mind is about to run off, you know what I'm saying? I understand that I ain't standing on top of a building like I was. That's progress. And that's a blessing. It'll help me accept right now because I had what it takes to not go stand on the building. So now in this moment, I'm realizing the same situation don't even make me mad. When three times ago I was standing on a building about to jump, and I realized that the blessing is in the fact that I'm sticking to it. The blessing is in the fact that I'm leaning into these words that don't make sense. The blessing is in the fact that I'm showing up every day. You know what I'm saying? I ain't blew nobody brains out, and I'm still here. My brains ain't blown out. The blessing is in the fact that I still believe God. The blessing is in the fact that even though it don't look like what he said, I still trust him. That's the blessing. And when you begin to understand that the process is the real deal, that's the gold ticket right there. It's the process, because it's that golden ticket that when you get to destiny, you hand them that golden ticket, and that golden ticket shows that I was blessed to make it through this thing so that I can now be at the destination of giving back. I could be at the point of giving more of myself. But if we don't acknowledge the process as a blessing, we can get to the destination and regret it. We can get to the destination and not be happy feel bad about it. No, we can get to the destination and not be completely gutted out and whole because of what it took to get here. And because I hear so many people saying, God, did it take all of that? Did it take that long? Does it really take that long? But there's something that happened in every season of our process that makes us say, I'm glad God ain't bring it right now.
What?
I'm glad God ain't give me. Listen, I know why my husband ain't here yet. I get it. I understand. I'm working on me, man. I'm coming. I'm working on me, man. God, just wait for me. But I know why he's not here. And it's one of those things. With all of my desires, you know what I'm saying, and with all of the people that want to take me on dates and all of this and all of that,
we can talk about it.
With all of that going on, I understand and I'm aware that the blessing is in me really peeling back these layers so that I can literally operate in who God called me to be from the original intent. But when we just forget the fact that the process is so that we can peel back the layers, we gonna forget to accept the blessing of the fact that we got what it takes to make it through this.
Isn't that good? Isn't that so good, guys? Man, I when she said that, I thought about myself as like, God, I really, we still, Lord, surely. But one of the things to think about, is the fact that if true prophetic word is a snapshot of an aspect of what will be.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay. Think of a prophetic word is every person that there's a book of in your name, put your name in a book of so-and-so, right? Mm-hmm. And that book has been written in advance by God concerning you. Everything that you do is in this book. Anytime you get a prophetic word, it's like God allows a person to take a magnifying glass through this huge book of yours, and it scans it on a particular page or a particular chapter, and it'll let that person just for a moment gain access to be able to see something concerning your life. And when they see it, guys, it's there. It's not a question. Now, as we come in agreement with what it is that God is doing, then it lets us know, That's what's in God's mind concerning me. Oh my goodness. Marriage is in God's mind concerning me. Children is in God's mind concerning me. You know, the $1 million businesses is in God's mind concerning me. Me finishing the degree is in God's mind concerning me. And when you get just a little piece of what's in God's mind concerning you, if you're not in it yet, God knows it.
Yes.
And he's not ready for you to be there yet.
That's good.
But it does not stop what's coming.
Right.
And so if God has promised you that you were going to walk in something and today you have not walked in it, the enemy wants you to get weary and he wants you to get upset and he wants you to feel like God maybe lied concerning you. But God is not a man that he should lie, right? So the first prerequisite for lying is to be a human. To be a man. That's the first prerequisite. He said, God is not a man, he can lie. He should lie. So they tell you right there, you got to be a man to lie. Right? You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie, but you be lying, right? Right. But that's the thing. But God does not lie. So I'll give you a prime example. I know there's some things that God said concerning me. Mm-hmm. And I will be honest. If anybody who's been up close on my life and you've known me for a long time, you will know that I have endured I feel like using my good vibrato, a long time, right? I may make it look good, but baby, I've been going through processes, and I know you have too, but this is my story, right? I've been going through it. I'll pass the mic to you in a moment, right? But it's been a long process, right? One of the last prophetic words I got from a man that didn't even know me, he said, this journey has been interesting. He said, it's been filled with process. He said, I'm seeing you over a decade of process. And if I'll be honest with you guys, I want you to imagine going through 10 years of waiting on not just one thing, but most things. That's been me the last 10 years. Now, people that know me well know that. If you don't know me well, you're like, oh, Apostle, God always doing stuff. Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate it. Don't stop. But most of the stuff that I really want, I feel like using my vibrato. I don't know what's about. Maybe my preaching career will take off again. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right.
We need you.
Okay. but listen, most of the stuff I really, 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 really want, if I'll be honest with y'all, I've been waiting 10 plus years for most of all of it, like 99% of the stuff. So, and I've been serving God faithfully, and 99% of stuff ain't showed up yet. And so, but what I had this epiphany today as I was preparing is that, Nicole, if God wanted you in it today, you couldn't miss it.
You couldn't.
If by chance you're not in it today, baby, it's okay. Yeah. That means he gonna sustain you till it comes.
Yes.
And he gonna sustain you when it comes.
Yeah.
And he gonna sustain you through it. And he gonna sustain you after it. And so, Lord have mercy.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because it's in moments like that, I begin to ask God questions like, okay, I know you said this word. This is what's supposed to be. I get it, and I get it. I ain't here today. So, what I'm missing? And when I ask God questions like, what am I missing? Sometimes God will tell me that it's not that you're missing anything, but there's something else I want to do. Woo! And then there's some people, God wants you to come into some things of your own before allowing your name to connect with somebody. So you just got to figure out what God's plan is for you. There are some people, God want to do some character work. There are some people, God wants you to live a little bit first, get a little bit more experiences out there and travel a little bit so you can have the kind of lingo that's required for the spouse that God got for you. It's just, there's some things that God want to do more of as it relates to you. And something I had to get out of was believing that I'm missing out. Like I'm missing out on my time. Yeah. Like things is ticking. Like when is this thing gonna go down?
Everything ticking.
Everything ticking. Boom. Like, listen. And the enemy, let's just say the enemy knows what we want, child. The enemy knows what we want. So it's one of those things that in order for me to just remain in that space, I have to continue to ask God from the perspective like, God, okay, it's not here. And in this moment, I truly desire it. In this moment, with this desire raging in me, what would you like for me to do? Because in my own strength, I understand that I'm going to get in some trouble, or I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And I'm just going to take matters into my own hands. So it's one of those things like, God, if I can keep focused in my hard time, in my most raging time, with the understanding that God got an expected end, and that's the end that I want to get to. I want to get
to the expected end and not to the box you want this end. So it's one of those things you got to allow your spiritual maturity to just carry you through and ask God the right questions so you're not cycling. Like ask God the right questions and get the right perspective for why you're in it, for why it's like this right now, even for why you feeling like this right now. Like God, why do I feel like you ain't never gonna bring them? He's gonna tell you there is something within you that I need to adjust. There's something within you that I need to grow. There's something within you that I need to stretch. There's something within you that I need to do. And when you get the doing, sometimes you remember what you want, but it don't sting as much because you're busy doing something, knowing that you're preparing.
Get busy.
It's knowing that you're preparing for something.
Yeah, that's good. Get busy preparing for what it is. And I know you've been preparing a long time. Lord, just how many times can you make up the bed?
Yeah.
How many times can you bake the cake?
Yeah.
How many times?
I'm gonna say OC.
How many times, Lord, can you? But it's important that we do that. And so I hope you're being encouraged by even our transparency. You know, I mean, this is real life. Like, we're not short on prophetic words. It's the manifestation that we are waiting on, and sometimes we don't wait right. We don't wait right. We misinterpret words. You know, we get prophetic words and we fall out before we can receive them good, and then we want to ask somebody else to. I'm gonna tell you this: from now on, anytime you get a prophetic word or somebody says, "Hey, you, lady in the red earrings, hoops, with the tan sweatshirt on, with the little bun thing in your head. You, come here. Your phone you should already be like this."
Life Nation, no, you get 12. You gonna get 12
baby. Life Nation will record your life, honey. We forget to turn it off. We at lunch and still be going, right? But get and have it and don't be so deep. Put your phone up.
Yeah.
And then as they speaking, the Spirit of the Lord.
Stand up in it.
I used to say that all the time. Then I had to stop doing that because people, my whole millennial church was looking at me like apostle. Yeah. Stop saying that. Yeah. But the point is, don't hear you and passed out. Now we got to get in. I can't tell you number of times in the altar call I done told you, get them up. Pick them up. I need you.
I done picked up plenty of people in my time.
I need you to look at me. Look at me, baby. Wake up. Open your eyes. I mean, I've had to do this, and if you've been in service with me, you probably seen me do this. Open your eyes, sweetheart. Look at me. I need you to look at me.
But sometimes what we got to pay attention to, the enemy, he'll come in and cause us to pass out sometime, and we ain't paying attention.
Some of us want to rest anyway.
Yeah, we just be knocked out up there. You got to listen to the words. Some of the words don't even require you to fall. It don't require it. You just stand out and get that it's foreign, that you've never heard these words spoken of you before, but it don't mean you got to fall. Stand up and listen to what
stand. Haven't done all the stand. Get the word. Then listen, there ain't nothing wrong with you. Slide to the floor when it's over, baby. Lay out, sprawl out. Get your own sheet. Wrap it over you, whatever. Put it around you, have it ready on your back. So all you got to do is do this when it's time. That's fine too. But get the prophetic word. Get it. You may have to cry through it. You may have to snot through it. We'll get you some tissue, but stand and get the prophetic word. You cannot be mad at the end of it if somebody didn't record your prophetic word so you can go back. And then you'd be surprised, as Vosh said earlier, how many times do we listen to that word and then 3 years later, like, oh, she said that. He said that. He said, but first, God say he gonna do this. Yeah. And you mad because you on step 4 and you need to do step 1.
Yeah, because in prophetic words, like I said, you gonna hear what ignites you the most. So it could be some stuff that they telling you and you forget, you miss the process of what they saying needs to happen before getting to that point.
So you
go ahead. You got it.
So you've been lonely all weekend. You go to church that Sunday and a guest preacher get up and say, "Woman of God, you right there, sir. You come here." The Lord said, I'm seeing a wedding. You got you look like you done hit. You look like you done been on Prices Right there and called your name. You
not Prices Right.
You can't even listen. I'm seeing a wedding. Now, what you don't know, because you so high off what you think you're gonna hear, you running and jumping, and then they say that ain't gonna work. And here you are Oh.
Right.
So don't get so hyped up till you get what the prophetic word is, because it's the other thing, y'all, that we ain't talked about, but we got to talk about it. Sometimes the word, what if it's a false word?
What if it's...
See, we ain't even talked about the fact that sometimes it's not even a word. Okay, let me say this. Do you know that people can prophesy to you out of their emotions?
Yes.
What they desire for you?
Yes.
And if they prophesy to you or they speak a word over you based on their desire for you,
Yes.
that's not necessarily something that's going to come to pass. And so you got to also test that word. That's why you got to take that word back and go and lay that word out and pray and ask Holy Spirit to show you if this is, because I'll be honest, let me tell you something. It's one particular prophet. I want to go find him if he is a prophet. I know his whole name. I know his first, middle, and last name. I know what city he last lived in. Why are you laughing? Because he prophesied some stuff to me, baby, and I promise you to God, I done turned gray waiting on it. And I done been married and divorced since he done prophesied it. And Lord Jesus, I'm pre-menopause. I'm trying to figure out, you still hear pitter-patter little feet? Where's the feet, child? Because I don't even babysit, so I'm trying to figure out what feet you talk about. Little feet too? Where they at? I wear a size 11 on a good day. So I'm trying to figure out what little feet you see.
Oh my God.
Right? So my point is, I want to find him, right? Because that word never came to pass. It never came to pass. I ain't no pitter-patter little feet nowhere. I'm getting 45. Where that? And don't be coming down. Because you're gonna make me mad now. Don't come now. Don't come now. Stay on where you was, right? Because don't tell me I ain't worked the prophecy, because I don't work the prophecy, baby. I work the prophecy. I work the prophecy, so you can't. It ain't on me. I'm just gonna put that out there. It ain't on me. I work my prophecy, baby. Let me tell you. Don't let them lie to you. I worked my prophecy, and it did not come to pass.
Stop. Stop. I don't want to hear no more.
She don't want to hear no more. She don't want to hear no more. This is my prophetic word.
I get it, but time out.
You see what happens? The people try to shut you down. You invite them to the show. You invite you to be a co-host on the show. Now
where is Overseer?
Now they want to shut you down. Overseer wasn't there.
Speak up, though.
Overseer was not there.
Stop this.
She wasn't there.
I want her to stop this, though.
She wasn't there, though.
I just want
Overseer, has anybody ever prophesied a word to you that didn't come to pass? You put it in the chat. Talk to us. I bet she's typing right now, telling us, yes, I have. Had that happen before. So it's a lot of smiling faces and laughs. So I guess everybody's. I guess the church is still alive and awake.
Well,
but the point is it was a lie, right? And so Overseer says she hollering.
oh,
but it was a lie. So you gotta don't be so quick to receive that word that you I don't even babysit. Listen, so that you don't receive that word, whatever that is, you got to make sure that you tested that word.
Oh, I'm gonna get a 6-pack from this laugh. But I'm telling you, I'm so sorry. Ooh, my face hurt.
Maybe I should launch my comedy ministry.
No, because when you try, it don't work.
you just keep doing it like you're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm still gonna maybe set up a show.
No.
I'm not gonna prepare any material though. I'm just gonna get up there.
Overseer, I need you to kick in at the wrong time, OT. I'm calling you after this.
Oh, I feel good now. I feel God down in my soul.
The Spirit has lifted.
Guys, we deep all the time. We just come out of deeper. I mean, take a breath. Take a breath. We just came out of deeper. My Lord. Fatima said, I am stuck on I work the prophecy, baby.
Fatima, why would you bring that back up?
Y'all will never look at that.
You got my nostrils flaring, Fatima. I don't want to hear nothing else about that. I don't want to hear nothing else about that.
Look, Brian said, well, dang, that's good to know my child not going to Auntie Nicole's house. No, I'm just telling you, let that be what that's going to be. Take it however y'all need to take it.
I sent her to babysit, child. No. Oh God,
that baby gonna be eating the ribeye. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God,
I'm just kidding.
Oh God,
no, I'm just kidding.
The Spirit has lifted.
The Spirit is high and lifted up.
I'm about to hit the end button.
Listen, God, but you know what? Thank you, Elder Clarice. Your mother says she loves this.
Okay.
So
I love you.
You're
but I don't.
You're outnumbered. Have you ever received a false word?
Yes.
Or you feel like you have?
Yes. And I told them that and I told them they better not touch me. But,
okay.
Yeah, but I did.
But do you think you knew what it was rooted in. Like, do you feel like you knew the motive behind why that person prophesied that to you?
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to pull me toward them.
Okay.
Like it was more so of like because I have what's next for you. It was almost like I hear the Lord saying that you are supposed to like come to my church. That ain't what the Lord said.
Gotcha.
Because yeah.
So, but no, that's good. So guys, just keep these things in mind. I know we've laughed tonight, but hopefully you'll think about some very practical things you can do when you get a prophetic word. Like, don't be so quick to want a new word if you have not worked the prophetic words that God has given you. Because remember, God is not obligated to speak again until you've done something with the last time He spoke. All right. So we're going to end on this. We're going to say a quick prayer. Tell me what stood out to you the most tonight about what we said, besides work the prophecy. What stood out to you guys the most as something you feel like, man, you could do more as it relates to prophetic words? Put that in the chat. We'll give you guys a moment. I certainly enjoyed this.
Yeah,
man.
It's been fun. It's been different.
It has been different. So maybe it was good that we got everybody over to YouTube. Most of the people.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button. Hit that give us a like.
Video,
yeah, like the video and hit the subscribe button. Share this link with some people. You can look Vash up as well. She's gonna be putting some things on her YouTube channel soon. So we speak by faith. It's going to happen. She's going to work that prophetic word, and she's going to get out there in the YouTube streets and put some good positivity out there. But yes, absolutely hit that thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's see some of the things that you guys said. Okay. Okay, let's see.
The blessing is in the process. Yes.
Great reminder. Okay. What else? Okay. Kwame says the same thing. The blessing is in the process. Working the prophecy means positioning yourself in every way. Positioning yourself so you can have what God has for you.
Mind, body, spirit.
Yes. Mind, body, spirit. To work your prophecy and the blessing is in the process. Okay. Yes. I love that the prophetic word is a snapshot of what is in God's mind concerning you. Oh, guys, it's like a hug from God. Like,
yeah,
you just feel so loved in that moment when you get a prophetic word. And don't get upset if you don't get one, all the time. It's okay. But every once in a while, my mom, she used to pride herself on not getting prophetic words. She used to say, they knew that. My mom, she was a little different breed. They knew not to prophesy. They knew not to come over here with that stuff. They knew not to prophesy to me because I'll tell them now. So they didn't fool with her much, but I would come on and be like, Mom, guess what? I got a prophetic word. What they say? They say you're gonna be a millionaire. I could have told you that, fool. All right, Mom, I won't be telling you any more prophetic words I got. The blessings in the process. Position yourself and pray on it. And the prophetic word is for guidance along the way.
Yes.
Appreciate the process. We've got to wait right. Yes. That was never the plan God had for you. I'm reading over my prophecy from Apostle from the Ascend Conference now. I wrote it down and have it recorded. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
On your most discouraging days.
Go back to that prophetic word.
Yeah. And then sometimes what you'll realize is after a while, you'll start listening to it and then your voice will it'll kind of like just kind of become monotone because you've listened to it so much. So you have to make sure that you remain intentional about every single line of the prophecy and don't listen to it if you think that you're going to zone out.
Yes.
Because you want to be able to be in a place where you can take in, even if you heard it. Like I know my prophecies verbatim, but it's a way that I go and I sit and I allow God to just allow me to hear it differently for today.
With fresh ears.
Yeah, what can I get out of it today that would encourage me to stay on the path today? I let yesterday be what it was and I let tomorrow take care of itself. But today, how can this encourage me today? What part of it encouraged me today? But if we go into it and just let it play, we'll miss what it can do for us today.
Yeah, and don't be rolling your eyes while it's playing because it ain't came to pass, And don't be mad at the person who prophesied it because you're still waiting. It's a process. And it's okay. Just think about it. If the end of a process was the end of your life on this earth, if that was the end of it, you really want to get to the end before you enjoy the process. The process is all of the years you get to experience. So enjoying each birthday, enjoying the highs and the lows, the life events and all those things. It takes all of those things, in order for us to experience the fullness of God.
Yeah.
All right. So this is good. So you guys have homework. Yes, you have homework. All right. Your homework is to go back and revisit every prophetic word that you have access to.
Yes.
Go back and listen to every prophetic word. Read every prophetic word. If you got them written on audio, try to transcribe them. in a way where you can read them. I like to print mine out. Do that and go back and rehearse them to see if there's anything you have missed. All right.
Yes.
See if there's anything you've missed. I believe that it's going to bless you in a great way. Any final comments from you?
Yes, I want to encourage that person that's never gotten a prophetic word, that does not know their purpose, that can't quite figure that thing out. You know, you still trying to figure out where to align, how to align. When God shifted my life, it was nothing to me on my side. I wasn't doing anything special. I just knew in my heart that I really just desired more. And I said that, and I'm saying that because there is going to come there's a day that God's got set aside for you. There's an appointment that God has set aside for you. And at that appointment, there's going to be a seed that is planted in some kind of way that's going to literally shift the trajectory of not your life, but your perspective. And if your perspective shift, your entire world will shift. So often, you know, especially when we're in that place where we hear about people getting prophetic words and we know that we're doing the best that we can and we want somebody to just come up and just see us. I'm speaking to that very person now. And I want you to know that God has an appointment with your name on it. And there's going to come a time where he's going to meet you right where you are. It's not going to require anything special in that moment because I can hear you. I don't pray like that. I don't know how to go to God like that. I don't know. I just know that I want better. And I'm telling you that God has an appointment with your name on it. And at that appointment, the very trajectory of your life is going to shift. Yeah. And when that seed is planted, everything after that, you're going to begin to see different. You're going to begin to hear different. And it's going to be little tweaks and little adjustments that's going to happen in your life that's going to lead to great major changes. Stay encouraged. Keep your heart in a place of wanting more. Keep your heart in a place of wanting better. You know, keep your heart in a place of wanting to expand and stretch, even though you don't know what that looks like. Because literally all I did was just wanting more. And I just made sure that I was a good person to other people. And God one day had an appointment. I'll never forget it. June 10th, 2017. He had an appointment with my name on it. And from that very moment, my life has been supernatural because I leaned into the unknown. Stay encouraged.
That's so rich. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And so I think that really was not only that was a prayer as well as to me, just something to help them stay encouraged. And let's keep encouraging each other as we're on this process. To give you a little heads up on things that's going, we always give you an opportunity to sow. So if there's anyone that desires to sow a seed into our ministry, the information is at the bottom of the screen. We speak a 100-fold blessing to you. I want you to be reminded. I've been saying this now, and I want you to get it. Every seed you sow has an answer in it. Yes. So if you need an answer for anything in your life, sow with that answer you need in mind. Yes. So if you know you need an answer to a situation or something on your job or something going on in your body, something going on in your finances, something going on in your relationships, sow a seed and sow it with that thing in mind, and you're going to reap the solution that you need the most. So don't plant if you're not going to be, you gotta be intentional. So as you're planting your seeds, whenever you plant your seeds, make sure that you are putting out in the atmosphere what it is you want. Wow. What it is you want to see God do. Wow. I'm seeing that Bishop Tony just said that same thing. Absolutely. There's an answer in every seed. So tonight, if you need an answer to something, and if you don't have the answer yet, sow a seed.
Sow a seed.
And this is a prophetic environment, so I can promise you now you're gonna get a harvest off of it. And we could go on and on about that. But I want to say this. So next week, we will keep you guys posted on Prayer Live because next week is going to be a very busy week. A lot of traveling happening as we're making our way to Dallas, Texas for 10's birthing. And so we probably will not be live doing Prayer Live on Tuesday. I will share with you guys, make sure that I share with you guys when we will be able to go live, and it probably won't be together. Just because we got a lot of things coming up, and it probably going. So I'll be going in there here and there, and probably going live a little bit. And I'll always try to let you guys know. Make sure that you're following the Bombarding Heaven with Nicole Bond's group page on Facebook, and you'll see. I'll make sure that I put on the internal page, and also I'll try to set it up to where you'll get a notification in advance when we're going to be going live. But keep us in your prayers. Also, if you've not registered, there are some spiritual warfare classes. If you say, hey, now that I know I got to fight to get these prophetic words, I got to fight. If I got to fight, what do I do? You can go to lifenationuniversity.com, lifenationuniversity.com. You can register for spiritual warfare classes. Our very own Overseer Thelma is teaching a series on spiritual warfare, and she's already taught the first 2, but she has 4 more classes, 2 that are happening in November and 2 that are happening in December, and they're free. So you can register for as many of the classes as you want or as few of the classes as you want. And so they're absolutely free. They didn't cost anything. And of course, I always say if she blesses you, sow a seed into her. But that's not if you don't have the ability. Either way it goes, you can sign up for those classes at our website, www.lifenationuniversity.com. If you want to in any way be a blessing to the Equipping Nation, or you want to know more about what the Equipping Nation is doing, which is 10, you can, their Cash App is there, Equipping Nation, and www.theequippingnation.com is also there. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more things online from 10 in the next few days. Keep her covered. We're also going to be streaming live. So we'll share more with the information with you guys for those that cannot travel to Dallas. We're going to be streaming live so you can take part in and hopefully be a part of it and see what God is going to do. Also, the next Deeper is coming up in November. It's going to be November the 10th through the 16th. And so that's not going to be long from now. I'm going to open up registration in the next few days for those that are interested in doing Deeper with us. We had an amazing time in October.
So good.
If you want to be a part of November's Deeper, which is our 7 days of prayer and fasting, it's going to be happening November 10th through the 16th. Be on the lookout for the registration form and all that good stuff. Okay, guys, I think that's all we have. We love y'all so much.
Yes.
Thank y'all for rocking with us. We're excited. Don't forget your homework assignment. Go back and listen to all your prophetic words.
Yes.
And we can't wait to see what God does. We're excited about your prophetic destinies. Until next time, God bless, and you have an amazing night.